tournament in general, power rankings are not right here. The
Yeah, it's
team,
not.
I feel like there's a conspiracy between the teams where when they see a power ranking, they just say, "Yeah, let's make this funny."
Yeah, and now we got RQ Hoshi, we got Dairen, Susujin, Rince, Edok, as well as Skylar. Where personally for me, I feel like the tempo of the current patch is a big W for Skylar.
Yeah, RQ Hoshi are a team that can play very fast and hit you very hard right where it hurts, right off the bat. And it's not just Skylar, I feel like the rest of RQ Hoshi are really getting a chance to breathe the air that they enjoy. Susujin being able to fulfill a lot of different roles, including both assassins and slightly more utility-based fighter junglers. Fills in a lot of the gaps needed to be able to carry out that early game so that Skylar can come online.
Yeah, and afterwards we got to look at Aurora, MLBB. Their opponents here, the runner-up for MPL Philippines is Edward, Demon Kai, Yue, Reda J, as well as Domeng Kai, which, forgive me if I just call him Domeng here. And again, one of the players that I personally want to watch, even though it's not an EXP meta, but I actually want to look at Edward because I feel like a few buffs here and there, like if Hilda gets banned out, I want to see what Edward brings to the table because I feel like if anyone can come up with something new, it's got to be Edward.
I also agree with Hilafel. I do personally feel like the EXP lane meta has been getting a little bit stale recently with all the Hylosas and Gatots and now Hilda. If we can see something new, something different, I would love to see that. And of course, there's going to be a lot of eyes on Demon Kite as well because of course there is, right? He loves his assassins. His micro gameplay is on another level entirely. But Aurora is going to need a little bit more to take down the team that defeated Fnatic Onyx.
Something to talk about here where maybe we can even bring this topic all the way to tomorrow is that is Chip really a viable ban nowadays? Because as far as I watch SPS, the few teams that let go of Chip actually has been winning. Vamos with the Chip has lost. TLID with the Chip has lost as well. Yeah, and now we're going to look at the prediction and yep, there you go. There you go.
There we go. It's understandable, FL. We know the sacrifices that you have to make sure that the game is as fair as possible. You just leave too much of an impact when you make predictions.
Here's the thing, Staffa. We all saw, even when I'm drawing teams, the worst thing that can happen will happen. To the point we asked the Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports to do it for me. So, you know what? I humbly respect the integrity of the Snapdragon Pro Series, and I choose not to vote.
We thank you so much for your sacrifice. Well, we're gonna be jumping into game number 1 here, folks. Aurora going to have first pick, RRQ second pick. And Aurora do actually decide to ban Hilda and Chip, despite having first pick.
Yeah, Araki Hoshi might have missed a ban there because they only ban out the Cho as well as the Jushin. Oh, never mind. They ban out the Suyo. So now Aurora, they have first pick. Now, we do have to see Matilda gets picked up. Now, I have a personal feeling about Matilda. I feel like Matilda is still a very strong hero, but you're not as aggressive as before because the HP changes really made it so that Matilda is very squishy. Like, true to the name of a support and assassin, right? You don't feel like opening up the map anymore.
Yeah, she still has insane early game presence and utility, but it is not quite as heavy-handed as it used to be in the past where you just completely destroy early game, especially with heroes like Hilda and Khalid, for example, being picked up more often now. This time RQ will be opening a little bit safer with the Valentina as well, who we already highlighted earlier. This hero has been getting a new lease on life.
Oh yeah, I feel like Rins on the Valentina can really impact the game because number one, Valentina affects the draft. It makes it so that you're more aware of your roamer pick as well as your mid lane pick because usually Valentinas pick up those big ticket ults, right? And having this Khalid is actually a very good answer against the Matilda because again, Matilda's HP has been dropped as with every other hero in the game, and this makes it so that the Khalid has a better chance of fighting that Matilda. Now Aurora, they pick up with the Alpha, one of the most banned as well as highest win rate as well, and the Moskov.
The Alpha makes a lot of sense because Matilda Alpha as well is a really potent duo in the early game. So if you have a Khalid to deal with, having Matilda to pull you in and out of fights, along with Alpha's consistent DPS, you should be able to come out just fine. Though the Moskov maybe doesn't need to be prioritized as early here because that'll allow RQ to instantly counterpick with the Brody.
Something to watch out for, Stafa, because now we're seeing teams prioritizing the Malefic Gun, right? I feel like Brody, your initial item is the Malefic Roar, but now since you can go for the Malefic Gun, I feel like he can win the lane a little bit more. So yes, I feel like this Brody pick is going to be pretty good. But the same thing can be said about Moskov. Once he finishes his Trinity item and then he finishes off with the Malefic Gun, it makes it so that this Moskov, one of the weaknesses for the Moskov is that for you to deal damage, you have to take damage. Now maybe you're going to save their position.
Yeah, I personally am a huge fan of the changes they made to Malefic Gun because this item was just dead before this patch dropped. There was never any reason to build it because marksmen already needed so many other items to do the damage they needed. But it being a solid alternative to Malefic Roar instead while offering different utility is great. And like you mentioned, both Moskov and Brody like to build that Malefic Gun, though Brody a little earlier than Moskov. Yeah. So that determines a little bit of the power spikes we'll see in the lane.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Oshi, honestly, the first 3 picks for them screams aggression. And Aurora, the first 3 picks for them is actually playing the macro game because Moskov is an amazing side laner. You can clean up the waves very, very fast. And if bad things happen, he can just ult away. If he hits target, he'll be safe. Having the Matilda as well as the Alpha shows that you want to contest those turtles, those lords. So we can really start to see a difference in mentality when it comes to the draft here. Hoshi, they want to fight. Aurora, they want to secure those objectives without trading a lot.
I think that's a smart way of avoiding it because previously we saw RQ is a pretty aggressive team, but I feel like Fnatic on it kind of did something similar where they wanted to either fight them that was in game 1 and then in game 2 try to lead more into a late game playstyle, and either way really ended up working. RQ gonna get a lot of junglers banned against them, including the Fredrin, which really doesn't see a lot of play anymore.
Although I feel like the reason they banned the Fredrin was they were very suspicious of this Eve ban. Because nothing in Hoshi's draft screams we can't fight an Eve. So I kind of feel like this kind of showed their hand a little bit too much, or you're banning out the Eve. We're thinking you might want a Fredrin, so we might as well ban out the Fredrin. So honestly, very smart ban here by Aurora. And Hoshi, they follow up with this Gato Kacha, still hiding who's the roamer and who's the EXP laner.
Yeah, leaving things until the very end.
Sorry, that's my cat.
The jungler especially. I didn't actually hear your cat.
Okay, cool.
Alright, cool. What if I want to hear your cat though?
Well, give it time. Give it time, you might be able to hear it. Now, Aurora, they already have a very solid comp. If they want to give, I feel like they need a little bit more crowd control, and they bring down the Veil. The Veil as well as the Edith. The Edith, again, crowd control, but the Veil as well, which has been buffed a little bit. So this is new for sure.
Yeah, we saw Veil once throughout this tournament so far. Can't remember which team did end up picking it, but it wasn't the most effective. And because Fanny was let through the fan phase entirely, which is quite a surprise. You would think that teams would catch on that in the second phase, but nope. Sutsujin gonna be playing the Fanny here. And that means that Veil is actually in a lot of trouble.
Staffa, I already have a bias towards Hoshi's draft. This level of aggression, they move faster than Aurora. So I can see the draft working for Aurora, but Hoshi, they want to fight as fast as they can, and they can.
Yeah, basically Aurora is going to need to try and hold the early game a little bit because I actually think they have a little bit more damage overall once you have those first or second items. But if this Fanny gets going, we've already seen what this hero can do, especially since they decided to buff her for some reason, making her a little less reliant on the purple buff even. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens as we jump into the Land of Dawn for game number 1.
Staffa, they nerfed the Fanny because, get this, she has a low win rate.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
I would know. She definitely has a low win rate when she's on my team.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, there's a big difference between rank play and tournament play. But now we're again talking about the game here, jumping on a game, a lot of bursts coming in from Hoshi, which I personally theorize that burst is the name of the game for this current patch because again of the HP changes and the changes in the items. Looking at the build here, looking like the Fanny, picking up attack speed to make sure that she clears the farm faster. The same can be said about Alpha. And we see that Yue having the tenacity. I'm sure it will help. Not sure how much it will help.
A little bit. In fact, it's not just Yue. 4 members of Aurora had tenacity, so they understand RRQ is gonna have a lot of burst, a lot of early game presence, and their goal is to just survive it. Because if they're able to hold out a little bit into the mid to late game, Domen Kite and Edward actually both scale pretty well, and they should be able to out DPS RRQ as long as they're not too far ahead.
Yeah, and now we can see Susujin already getting knocked out.
Going in the mid lane, Susujin trying to follow up on Demon Kite. Unfortunately, not able to land the final blow, and there'll be no kills so far.
Yeah, Renegade taking some damage coming in from Rins. And personally, Staffa, I gotta say, where I'm pretty sure Aurora, what they want to do is win the turtle and then eventually invade the jungle. But based on my observation, Fanny, once Fanny hits level, honestly, level 8. Wait, Yui got the first blood. What happened there?
Edok seemed to go really deep into the jungle for some reason. I guess he was trying to scout out information on where Demon Kite was, but there were 3 members there waiting for him.
Oh, now Edward finds Rins. Rins should be fine here, able to escape. But again, look at Aurora. They want this turtle. After the turtle, their aim is to go inside the jungle.
And looks like Spirit of Alpha is going to connect on one. That's going to be the ultimate from Vale as well. Instantly bursting down Edok. Here comes Susujin. Dairen very, very low. Survives for a while, but not long enough. Susujin trying to chase down Yue, but he's able to flicker away. And because RRQ is left in a 2v4, they're going to have to surrender this turtle away. Susujin, in fact, going to be disrupted from recalling again. And Renegade goes in for the KO on the Fanny.
This is a big win, a big win for Aurora. This is what they want to do. They want to win turtle, and then eventually they want to start controlling the jungle.
And speaking of controlling, they instantly control Edok, not even allowing him to respawn before he is just one-shot in his own side of the map.
So now that Aurora has basically denied Hoshi of the early game power spike with the amount of burst damage that they have, they're looking at a better spot here. So what they have to do is play a little bit slow, play for the second turtle, and then eventually get inside the jungle as well. But the thing about the Fanny changes is that I feel like at level 8, okay, Edok got a kill onto Domenkai, but once Fanny hits level 8, even without the purple buff, it is punished, but not that big of a punish because of the changes of the energy.
Yeah, she got an extra 2 base energy reset. Oh, Demon Kai getting pulled in with the Guiding Winds. Looks like he will not commit Spear of Alpha since Rins was already under the tower. But Aurora so far doing a very good job of keeping things up. They're gonna again invade. Edok not having a good time. Killing spree for Demon Kite. Oh, and they're still going. Avatar the Guardian comes in. Susujin wants his purple buff. The Demon Kite wants to save. Circling Eagle gonna knock out 2. Not too sure who actually got it, but Susujin doing a lot of damage. Shuts down the Alpha and finally punishes Aurora.
Yeah, but it's still okay because 40 seconds is the timer for the next turtle. So Aurora, they were punished, but they weren't punished that bad because even though Hoshi got a kill, they won't transfer that kill onto objective. So Aurora had to take the risk there, where if they get a purple buff, then good. But even if they don't, they won't get punished that much. Sure, the jungler died, but worse things have happened before.
Picking up the jungler, Susujin looking for another purple buff, goes in, ults Renegade, forces out the Circling Eagle, actually returns to come back again, not able to steal the purple buff. Demon Kite still able to grab it, but he had to use his retribution.
Skylar's first item is the Malefic Gun, so again, looking to win the lane, but so far, Domenkite actually has been playing the lane very well. I've been looking at his HP, and it hasn't been fluctuating a lot, so he's not interacting with Skylar at all.
Yeah, the only time he got picked off was when Edok actually got a pretty good timing gank when he was pushed up. Other than that, He's been able to lane against Skylar very, very well. Turtle at 40%. Oh, Flicker, Earth Shatter finds one, but here comes Sutsujin from backline. He steals it away, but the Spear of Alpha connects with two members of RQ Hoshi. Here comes the Primal Wrap coming out. Edok actually able to survive with Quicksand Guard, and the Avatar Guardian being used by Dyren to escape. Edok not so lucky himself.
This is a good trade coming in from RQ Hoshi. Only losing one and getting a turtle, it's actually very good. But now Aurora, they still want to continue the game plan. They want to be able to contest this purple buff, and they're able to get it. Demon Kite actually secures it. So never mind. The advantage shifted over to Aurora.
Sutsujin did use his retreat to get the turtle earlier, so Demon Kite was able to secure the purple buff without too much issue. The net worth lead now actually even between both teams, but we already mentioned if Aurora is able to keep themselves in until the mid game, they are actually the ones at an advantage.
So here's the tricky thing, Staffa. I agree with you. Aurora has the better late game because Dominkite on the Moskov and Yue on this Veil, they skill very, very well. Veil is one of those unique heroes with more levels to get much, much stronger. But RQ Hoshi, when it comes to the burst damage, if they're able to get the key targets, then it really doesn't matter. So honestly, the late game here is more dynamic.
That is true. Skylar in trouble. Circling Eagle finds his Spear of Alpha, actually connects even with Edok trying to stop him. Demon Kite gets one kill. Avatar Guardian knocks up the Alpha, but this is still a 3v4 situation. Guiding wins, lets Demon Kite back out for free, and now they're going to be pushing down bot lane.
Well, as I was saying about Aurora, I guess the same thing can happen with RQ. If Skylar gets taken down, then oh, GG. Oh, Yue taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, Rins took half his HP from the Veil ult there, but not quite enough follow-up. Dominkite, not enough items yet to really dish out that damage. But Aurora controlling the map. Oh, they ran into the wrong bush right there. Two-man Spear of Alpha. Dyren surviving with the Revitalize, and Sutsujin comes back in. In fact, they're able to turn it around and take out Demon Kite instead.
Yeah, Demon Kite gets taken down. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And now RQ Hoshi, it's funny when you look at the kill score, it's 8-3. But again, the goal is really not that different. Looking at the damage leaderboard here, Yue just got Sutsujin.
How does that even happen? Veil is supposed to be food for Fanny, but turns out it's the opposite if you are a player like Yue here. The game state actually still very even right now, and that's exactly how Aurora wants it.
I mean, I guess that's the relation. Oh, hold on. They want Edok again, but looks like Renegade is going to cancel out of that. I was just about to say, Staffa, I guess this is the relationship between a hero that flies around and a hero that controls the wind.
That is true. Yeah, when you're flying around, you do got to deal with the wind resistance a little bit. Exactly, and in this case, Yue is putting it right in his face.
So MLBB logic checks out, you know. Veil is the counter to Fanny. Okay, don't actually take that to ranked games. It's just Yue things. Okay, it's just Yue.
Or like, you guys can do it, but then you can blame LaFell afterwards, you know?
Now, Aurora, they're moving together as a unit. And looking at Sutsujin, he actually got 2 turns there, if I'm not mistaken. So overall, RQ Hoshi, they're still in the game. This game, 8 minutes in, is so close, Staffa.
Even though the kill score heavily favors Aurora, RRQ has been able to keep themselves in this with that burst damage and with that extra micro from Sutsujin. Take advantage of Aurora wanting to play together. Spear of Alpha even misses on Edok. Spear of Destruction connects with Rins, but there's no angle for Aurora to enter the jungle.
Yeah, looking at the top lane as well, Aurora might get a turret for free. Oh, Yue got a kill? What happened?
He just got bursted down. He was in the wrong place. Sutsujin almost gets caught by Spear of Alpha, able to fly around, do a good amount of damage, but not quite enough. He will be able to fly out, but Aurora now looking for a bit of vengeance, going for the top tier 2. Avatar the Guardian jumps in, Revitalize used as well to defend their tower, and they will successfully do so.
Right now, Staffa, Sutsujin needs to step up. He needs to get a target. He's 1-2-0 now.
Well, speaking of, he tries to go for Matilda, actually does get it, able to fly out at the same time.
That was almost bad. That was almost bad stuff. I was like, oh, Sutsujin got to do something. And then he did, but he almost died. But again, he needs to make this Fanny work.
Absolutely. Right now, it's doing okay, but needs to. Oh, beautiful Raging Sandstorm flickers, lands on 2, but the Earth Shatter actually stops them right into the Veil ult. A beautiful combo from Aurora. Put apart memory, not able to proc Sky Piercer, so they come out on top here.
What's the use of flying around against the Master of the Winds? Dude, I would never have thought that the Veil would be the one to actually stop a Fanny. What a world we live in.
That's actually really impressive. A lot of it was the Earth Shatter too, setting up the Fanny. Circling Eagle, Guiding Winds, pulls Demon Kite to the opposite side to control the Lord Pit a little bit better. RQ looking for an entrance, but the Earth Shatter Flicker knocks them up. And because of that, Skylar cannot go in. He's already been picked up. Edog with the Raging Sandstorm and the Avatar Guardian used to escape. But Veil is just doing so much damage. Sitsujin even burns down to Renegade. Aurora taking control of the RRQ jungle.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Veil might be the hero to watch, man, because right now, against a Fanny, is 7-0-5. Like, we gotta check this out. Is this Veil or is this just UA?
I feel like part of it is just UA and a little bit of Edward as well, having the proper positionings to make sure that Sitsujin can't just fly in and get a free kill every single time. A 14 kill score to 4. And a 5k net worth lead have finally been built up by Aurora at the 11-minute mark.
And Aurora still has the Lord. The Lord is knocking on the top turret, able to get it. And now they're trying to get the inhibitors as well. Arki Hoshi, they want to make sure that no inhibitors gets taken down.
Oh, but here comes the Windstorm once again into the Spear of Alpha. Even Revitalize can't keep Dyron alive, and they found Skylar as well. Sitsujin, he's the only one left standing. Never mind, they're just gone. Exploded by Aurora as they break down the crystal and take game 1.
Let this be a lesson in case anyone was wondering why I don't make predictions. I actually liked RQ's draft, and look what happened.
I mean, usually when you save a Fanny as the last pick, it can usually do quite well, and there's honestly a lot of targets this game that Sitsujin should be able to rack kills off of, but this Veil has been such a weird wild card for Aurora.
And the thing is, they picked the Veil first, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we need to point this out. They picked the Veil first. By the way, guys, screenshot the itemization for UA, because I'm pretty sure the stocks for the Veil will be skyrocketing, and you know, use his items. He doesn't even have Blood Wings. Staffa, he doesn't have Blood Wings.
He doesn't need blood wings. He has his own wings in the form of Renegade. And I don't really think he even needed to support him much. Like, Aurora was doing such a good job that UA was never in any threat, even with a Khalid and Fanny on the opposite side.
Yeah, I feel like RQ, they really need to look back.
Phil, what kind of changes do you think they need to do in terms of maybe the draft to deal with Aurora?
I would say just change Edog's hero.
Looking for that. RQ still has the chance to claim that spot for themselves, though, if they're able to take the next 2 games in quick succession. So going into game number 2, LaFell, what kind of changes do you think they need to do in terms of maybe the draft to deal with Aurora?
I would say just change Edog's hero, you know, something that he can actually avoid, like especially if they already see something like the Alpha gets picked up, maybe something with a little bit more mobility, something like a Cho, right? Where, sure, Cho is not as tanky as per se a Gatot or a Khalid, but he's able to dodge that damage. And dodging is better than tanking.
I literally invented one.
I think that also kind of depends on who you ask, though, sometimes,
yeah,
right? Well, let's see what happens, because Aurora still going to be going ahead to ban out that chip on the blue side alongside the Hilda. So, surprisingly, an effective strategy.
I kind of feel like it's because when Chip got got nerfed, is a very strong hero still, for sure. Very strong hero. But is not a hero you want to first pick anymore. Yeah, that was a good, I saw it. That was good.
No problem. Gotta handle all the little corners. All right. first pick. What's it gonna be? The Matilda is taken off the board. I think that caused a lot of trouble for Aurora when the game began. And oh, the moment you say it, the show gets contested away by Aurora themselves.
It's like I know these things, man. It's like I knew. I play Rogue Mustafa, and I know how tough it is to just tank up straight up damage. Like, I don't know how to use a Cho, and yet I look amazing on the Cho just because this meta is more suited for heroes like him, which makes me want to experiment with the likes of Ruby. I just haven't gotten the time to do it yet. Aurora now picking up the Eve as an answer towards the Valentina as well as the Gatot. Will they pick up an Alpha here? Alpha is still open.
Alpha seems like it would be pretty solid if you ask me. It already worked really, really well in game number 1. Though the Matilda definitely boosted his effectiveness overall. So looks like Aurora thinks that without that part of the puzzle, Moskov is a more important factor.
I am vengeance in
And I kind of feel like Aurora, their ego challenging Arakihoshi. If you guys want to pick up the Alpha, look at the heroes that we got. We got ways to fight the Alpha. We got an Eve, we got a Cho. So they're like preventing Arakihoshi from picking it up. So they're forcing Arakihoshi to ban it away. And now Arakihoshi, they're picking up the Natan, which has been a staple, even since from previous patch, where even if you're having a bad early game, it will save you in the late game.
I feel like Natan is just ridiculous. I said it yesterday, I'll say it today, I'll say it until something changes. He's just so strong in every single phase of the game. It is crazy. But what's even crazier is that normally you wouldn't see people pick up an Eve into a Valentina because now you have 2 boxes of death to deal with. It just shows how confident Aurora are with this hero.
I'm just gonna emphasize on your point where I feel like Natan now, his power spike is the first item. Once he has the Starlium Scythe, he can already start bursting people down. It's not consistent, but it's enough, you know? So that just shows how strong it is. Now, Arakihoshi, they ban out the Phantom, but Aurora, they themselves ban out the Alpha, which I thought it would force Arakihoshi to ban out. But maybe something with this Natan pick makes Aurora feel that an Alpha is still possible for Arakihoshi.
If they're going in this direction, it seems like both teams are just thinking of going for the Assassin v Assassin jungle here.
Or Fredrin. I hope not, but Fredrin.
Fredrin. Yeah, I don't think so. If you're going for a Fredrin, you want to have just straight up a whole bunch of damage everywhere else. And I'm not really seeing those kind of drafts yet.
But now Arakihoshi, they're banning out the Joy, so they agree with what you're saying, Staffa, because a Joy on Aurora is going to be pretty good because the Nathan is pretty strong, but the Nathan doesn't have consistent dashes. So once the Joy starts dancing, Nathan starts screaming. Ah!
I feel like the scream would be a little bit more of a
more
terrifying.
Like, oh.
And then I feel like it'd be more guttural.
No, that sounds bad as well.
Yeah, no, that's correct. That's exactly
correct.
what Natan sounds like.
All right. Not really how it looks like, but okay. Okay, let's speculate about this. I was talking about the Fredrin, and now they ban out the Alpha and the X-Borg, both being very famous of chunking down tanky, beefy boys. Or girls. Not discriminating.
Yeah, we have to be inclusive here. Gatot is one of those beefy, tanky boys. Or girl, we don't discriminate. So without the Benedetta, we have actually been starting to see a little bit more Benedetta again in the EXP lane in recent days to kind of match the macro of certain other teams. So, okay, let's see where this goes.
So the Benedetta pickup is pretty hype. And Eve, okay, I mean, like we said, Yue is going to have a tough time with the dives, but we saw what happened in game number 1. He might be fine, right? He might be fine. Now, Aurora, I'm more interested to see.
Oh,
did I not call it, Staffa?
You did call it.
it.
You did call it. That's why we call you LaFred.
No. I'm LaFell, the analyst, all right? The draft speaks loudly. Now Arakihoshi, last pickup here. they kind of need some kind of physical damage unless this Benedetta is going for a damage build because they already have a lot of magic damage. They need a little bit more physical, and they kind of need a tank killer as well, which is kind of difficult. Oh, they're picking out the Bane.
I was thinking
That's
about
actually
the
quite
Bane.
a solid pick.
Yeah, because you probably do need a fighter jungler to deal with Fredrin. And then if you can handle the dive somewhat, then it would be really, really good. So the Bane seems like a pretty solid pick out there. But we're seeing slightly different compositions here going into game number 2. What do you think, Lafel?
Looking at RQ Hoshi, they want to fight with a little bit more control. We gotta see what Dyran picks up as his battle spell as well. Will it be the Revitalize or will it be the Petrify? But having the Bane makes it so that you're kiting around, right? You're moving backwards and you're letting Benedetta do her own thing in the back line, because if they dive in with the Deadly Catch, you're able to push people away, creating more space for it in a time. So for RQ, it's a draft for Skylar. And for Aurora, this is like MLBB 2 years ago, where you have the Fredrin, where you're just forcing fights time and time again, and except this time, having the Eve, you're able to slow down the enemy so much, so you can able to dish out free damage. And the Cho as well. I'm pretty sure Cho is gonna have Drill. This is still, even though it's like utility over utility over utility, Aurora's 3-man mid lane is actually very strong.
Yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from there as well. So now that we're back in the land of dawn for game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, I feel inclined to remind you of the stakes, because if Aurora are able to take one more game, they immediately qualify to the next stage of the Snapdragon Pro series. RQ needs to do everything in their power to stop their tracks.
Right now, we got to do a little bit of house cleaning here. But first of all, I'm looking at the gold lane here, and it looks like Dominkite is actually having priority over Skylar. Something to note here is that Dyran is going to be using the Revitalize. And looking at Dyran's talent setup, looks like he's going to be a little bit more aggressive, having the Drill as well as the Spell Vamp thing.
Speaking of aggression, though, down here, Edoc and Skylar both already taking a lot of punishment from Yue and Renegade. Edoc not really catching a break this series. In game 1, he was getting abused pretty hard in the first few minutes, too.
Oh, and something we haven't highlighted, Renegade, Cho is his hero, man. Like,
true.
No matter which lane he goes to, if he's playing jungle, EXP, or whatever, if he's using the Cho, then Renegade fans, they don't have to worry about anything.
Ooh, there we go. A Praises Wrath. I'd love to see it. Just turn Skylar into a pile of mush for first blood.
You say love to see it? I would say debatable. It depends.
I mean,
which
if you're on the
side...
receiving end, you know,
yeah,
then you won't see it before you're turned into a pile of mush. So it's fine.
Yeah, honestly, Fredrin is a TikTok favorite, man. Like, so many clips of 4,000 damage on the Praises Wrath. It's like, ugh.
Even I have a TikTok clip on Fredrin. That's how you know.
Oh, really?
There's a lot. Yeah, I do, actually.
Oh, damn. Well, there you go. You got the Chos, you got the Fredrins. So now with RQ Hoshi, they're still fine because their comp does scale up. So it's okay. Having Skylar die there is kind of not okay.
Yep, Yue continuing his control of the skies from the last round by taking out Skylar himself in the bot lane, despite it being a 2v3. That real world manipulation being able to extend all the way under tier 1. And now we can see why they picked up this hero despite having to face a Valentina.
Yeah, Yue now as well. In the previous game, he was basically untouched. Perhaps the same thing can be said about this game, because looking at how Renegade is moving around. Oh, now Demon Kite as well.
Deadly Catch able to stop Demon Kite from going forward. Entropy allows Skylar to walk back as well. That means that Aurora cannot continue their pursuit here, so RQ with some breathing room, but unfortunately they found Rins, though with the Purify, he is fine.
Do you worry if Fredrin comes back to the meta, Staffa?
Well, we haven't seen him in a long time, so I actually don't mind seeing him a little bit. What I do worry about is if we see nothing but Fredrin.
Okay. You know what? I'll agree with you there. Fredrin is fine. Not every game, Frederick. Speaking of every game, looking at the top lane here, it looks like Darren gets punished so hard, and now Demon Kai goes to the jungle.
And not able to get his own purple buff. Avatar the Guardian a bit too late, and the way of oh wow, he just gets kicked back into the Appraiser's Wrath, and Demon Kite has some takoyaki for dinner. Unfortunately, Edok and Skylar in the front line finally picks up UA and are able to walk back into their own tier 1 to be able to stay safe from the rest of Aurora.
I mean, so far, Aurora is having amazing control. 1.5k gold ahead, and Demon Kite, he's basically 80% HP here. He's completely fine with contesting the turtle again. And again, Frederick's one of those turtle contests that is very hard for you to really do anything. Especially as a Bane that lost his purple buff that doesn't have retry. Yeah, this is going to be a free turtle for Aurora all day, every day.
RQ understand it as well, and we can see them already shifting to defensive positions. Renjay looking for Skylar, not able to find him, but with the wave cleared up, Domenkai not going to be able to find too much more gold off of it. Dyren wants to look for an ult, but without Petrify, he's not really able to set up, so Aurora just gets to walk away.
Looking at the gold leaderboard here, both side laners for Aurora is actually doing very, very well. Now, even the jungler, they're shifting between Demon Kite as well as Sutsujin, but really a big difference here. 3.7k for the Moskov, and Skylar is nowhere near.
Yeah, that is not a good sign, because we literally mentioned earlier, Nathan as a hero just is so strong in general throughout the game, and Aurora knows this, so a lot of additional pressure has been put on Skylar's lane in particular, just to make sure that Doming has a great time.
And they're like, oh, we heard you're strong, but are you 1v3 kind of strong? It looks like, not really. Like, as strong as the hero is, going up against Renegade, Yue, Demon Kite, as well as Doming Kite, it's a very big ask for Skylar on this Natan, especially when we see when Edok comes to help save him, Edok takes so much damage that he really can't contribute too much. And Skylar, whether he likes it or not, has to stay under his turret.
He may be able to walk through time, but he's not really able to walk through people. Aurora gonna continue initiating on the bot lane, targeting Edok, and the Gatot again forced back, even the Spear of Destruction, just to contribute a little additional damage. Oh, concealed play, Way of the Dragon right into the real world manipulation, and that is going to be a dead Sutsujin. Dyren trying to stop Yue, but again, no Petrify. He can only just walk back. Renegade being as annoying as we expect, and Aurora continuing to apply pressure, looking for even more across the map. Tier 1 gonna be the target. Abrasive Wrap does some solid damage once again. Real one manipulation though, this time trapping Demon Kite, but he's able to still walk away despite everything.
Dude, how is that fair? How is that fair? Demon Kite still survives after all of that, getting tower shot, being in the real world manipulation, gets a turtle. Oh,
he lives up to his name, you know? He can kite anything, even on a slow hero.
So that's why. All right, now we'll keep going on to Dyren. It looks like not gonna be much there. Aurora, like you said, stop on. Just keeps on putting the pressure, making it so that Arkeoshi don't have time to breathe. And looking at how Edok has been playing, this is one of those times where I reminded myself of my rank games and why I don't like using roam.
You know, I absolutely understand, because I feel the same way. I feel really bad for Edok right now. His score is 1-0-0, actually pretty good for a roam, but he's been able to contribute so little to the overall game so far.
Yeah. But to be fair, no one from Arkeoshi really has an impact so far. Dyren hasn't, Rins hasn't, Sutsujin hasn't. This really does feel like Arkeoshi, they're just playing for farm, and they're not trying to find unnecessary fights. Or at least for Arkeoshi, most of the fights seem unnecessary, just because even if we do fight, what are the chances that we're gonna win? It's very low.
Dyren in trouble, Spear of Destruction already connected, and here comes Renegade. Ivor9 keeps him alive for a little bit, but not against 3 members of Aurora. They're just continuing to find picks everywhere across the map. And even though it seems like a lot has happened so far, actually only 7 kills in total this game, 5 in favor of Aurora.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but Arkeoshi, they need to find an opportunity to get something here. Because again, they're playing very, very defensive. And this is not to their fault. This is how their draft is. is systematically supposed to be played. But again, once they have an opportunity to turn things around, then it's going to be good. The bad thing here is Tafa is that from Aurora, not a single person has more than 3 kills. So no big shutdown goal will be held. Even if they kill Demon Kite, the amount of gold they get from Demon Kite isn't that much because he only has 2 kills.
And this is one of the positives as well of just Filipino gameplay, where if there's not a lot of kills, no matter how far ahead you are, you dying actually doesn't create that much of an impact because you just don't have any shutdown gold to give away. Next Lord now gonna be the target. Aurora gonna take their time with this one.
Arkehoshi, they're trying to use this Lord as a bit of a leverage to keep Aurora here. Sutsujin gets found out by Renegade.
Way of the Dragon kicks him right into the rest of the Aurora gang, and Appraiser's Wrath finishes him off. UA wins the death box fight against Rins. Skylar has to use Entropy defensively. Dyren will be able to get some split push in on the bottom side of the map, but is it gonna be enough?
Honestly, this might be over for Arkehoshi because rarely do we see that happening where a jungler gets straight up caught by a Cho, because usually you would have your members of the team or the jungler himself opening up the map. Like, look at this. It's weird that Sutsujin, maybe he was looking at his items or something, but he reacted so late towards Renegade catching him there. I mean, Bane doesn't have a dash, so even if he notices, what else is he gonna do, you know? But still, this shows that might be over.
Renegade actually caught out between all 5 members, but survives on 10% HP, even after everything. With all the resources spent, Sutsujin just barely able to secure his orange buff.
I mean, if this keeps on going on, Staffa Aurora looks like they have the first ticket to go to the next stage. Right? They can do it. Arkehoshi, only with 2 kills, down by 5,000 gold. I don't think Skylar has the Holy Crystal just yet. And at this point, he might need the Divine Glaive as well.
It's a complete reversal from what we saw in their match against Fnatic Onyx yesterday. Aurora showing them how it is done. The wave are gonna be a beautiful 3-man flicker Jikundo knockout right into the real world manipulation. Doman Kai gonna be doing some damage as Siren comes in with the Electro final blow, but he's not able to really do anything at all. Vengeance gonna be soaking all of that up, and now Doman Kai is in the base. He takes a double kill, only leaving Rins alive. This is the opening Aurora wanted. 3v1. They're gonna push straight down mid and look to end game 2.
Coaches and gold laners would say that what Domain Kite did was a mistake. But the dopamine you get from doing that cool of a play, I'd say it's worth it. It's worth it. I mean,
maybe
like,
he should rename himself to Dopamine Kite.
You're a goddamn genius, Tafa. I didn't even think of that. Dopamine Kite. Oh, that's... You know what? There you go. You know what? Yeah, I approve. 10 out of 10.
Nice. I got approval, guys. Happy about that one. Ooh, Edward didn't.
Edward died.
He tried to jump back in to jump away, and then he just blew up. This is where Natan does start getting a little bit scary, but they only have 1 inhibitor to play with.
Yeah, but you know, that's good. First you kill the gold leader, and then you kill the EXP, so there's a chance. Like, if you're in RQ's position, any good thing that happens, you just gotta take it, right? If your manager buys you a burger, you're like, we're losing, but at least we get a burger. You gotta be happy with what you got.
You know what, LaFell, you are absolutely right. Sometimes you just gotta appreciate the little things in life. And right now, any little victory RQ can get, they gotta hold on to and turn into a snowball.
Yeah, right now, RQ, they're probably talking about, you know what, a burger is great, but you know what would be even better if we can steal this Lord away. The problem is they can't move forward. They don't really have a lot of avenues to come and check this Lord. And it looks like Aurora wants RQ Hoshi to come in. Never mind, they're bursting it down.
Yeah, they know that RQ is not gonna contest at this point. It would be a little bit suicide to try and jump into that because Aurora still has a pretty big network lead at this stage. They'll just try to hold, because if they steal RWM with Deadly Catch, their base defense is actually not bad.
Oh yeah, honestly not bad. And looking at the gold here, Skylar has caught up, only differentiating by 1,000 gold, so it is still okay. It is good. Arkeoshi, this is probably the strongest position that they can be in because, like you said, the wave clear is very good. And it's on Aurora not to make the mistake because the deadly catch, the damage coming in from the Natan, they can do something here. Arkeoshi can do something here.
Absolutely, but that'll depend on them. The Lord is crashing in. They're taking a good amount of damage. Edok in a lot of trouble. Avatar the Guardian forwards. Maybe should have used it defensively, but he is actually able to survive and clear the minion wave for now. Will Manipulation being used by Rins to actually deal with a lot of the minions coming in for Aurora and even take out Yue at the same time. RQ Hoshi are able to survive to fight another day.
Yeah, that was good, but now another wave is coming. Can they do it again?
Rins dashes in, gets hit with the Spirit Misery. Unfortunately, no stun here. Dyron's still alive. Skylar uses the Purify, but the minion wave comes on in. The crystal is wide open, and because of that, Aurora will be your first team moving on to the next stage of the Snapdragon Pro Series MLBB.
Yep, they'll be going for the challenge season. And again, this is a spectacular performance from Aurora. If we're gonna say bad things, unfortunately, game number 1 and game number 2, both Edok as well as Sutsujin really didn't have a good match. Dyron as well, I kind of feel like Dyron just straight up lost the laning phase against Edward because talking to professional players, Edward is one of those lane bullies that is really hard for anyone to overcome.
You could tell that he was having a pretty good time there. CC as a hero does deal with a lot of EXP laners 1v1 quite easily. The Benedetta meant to try and open up the map a little bit more for RRQ, but without Petrify means that he's not really able to set up team fights. And so a lot more pressure again goes on to Edok, who really wasn't able.
Winning 'cause I'm with you in the building. I'ma keep you with the good mood. Keep you up all night.